Smart 24, driving business.
Hello, our dear viewers and our listeners who are live on X and our viewers who are live on YouTube and GoTV and DSTV. You're very welcome to the Fat Talks show. This is a show where we bring in guests who are able to enlighten us, guests who are able to educate us, and this is a program from Fidelis Leadership Institute, an institute that's determined to grow a critical mass of ethical leaders. The host today is Viola Mboneko, and here today we have a very great guest called Ismail Basalidwa. Ismail, you're very welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for the opportunity and the invite. It is really something I don't take for granted, to come and share my experiences with the rest of the world. I know through such disclosures, we help each other one or two. We pick out very many things that enlighten us and have a broader picture of the society we want to be in.
Thank you, Ismail. Ladies and gentlemen, today we are closing our mental health discussions. As you have been following us, we have been honoring men. The month of June internationally is a month set aside to deal with mental health disorder discussions for men. History has shown that as the world has driven gender dynamics towards women, some men have suffered, and hence this discussion which Ismail is going to drive us and engage us. We want to talk about the exploration of mental health solutions and remedies that are customized and tailored for men. All right? So, Ismail, can you tell us about yourself? These people need to know more about you. Who is Ismail Basalidwa?
Okay, thank you once again. My name is Ismail Basalidwa. I am very passionate about the boy child and very passionate about mental health. I have been in this field for close to 3 years of advocacy, so I think my discussion today will be one that will add value to our viewers and our listeners and those following us on X. Yeah.
Super. But guess what? Ismail is shying away, but Ismail is a very educated man. Ismail has an MBA from Makerere University. Ismail is a gifted florist. Ismail is a continuing student at the famous Makerere Law School. So he has the authority to enlighten us on these issues. Ismail, thank you for honoring our invite. Now, in regards to mental health, can you just share with our viewers and listeners a personal journey in terms of any mental health challenges and how you manage to navigate them as a man?
Okay. Thank you very much once again. I would like to first broaden the picture of what mental health entails before going into a sect like you, the question is.
Yeah.
First of all, I would like to our viewers and listeners to know that mental health entails, in my understanding, 3 things. 1, it entails what we call emotional intelligence. And then we look at what we call psychological intelligence, and then the social aspect of life. So the 3 aspects, to me, are key in every decision that we take any interest that we have, the stress that we receive here and out. So to me, that three trio is an aspect that I look at when I look at mental health. And mental health, when you speak about mental health, people usually look at the negative part of it. But however, there's also mental wellness. So it depends on how you juggle the three aspects. You either fall into mental wellness or mental illness. So that is how I can start, and let's enjoy the discussion.
So do you have, as a man, has there been any part of your journey that has challenged your mental health? For example, the wellness bit that you're talking about. What in your life has challenged that part of your health?
I would like to say in the year 2018, I had an opportunity to set up a shop. That shop didn't materialize to my expectation. It didn't even last 5 months.
Oh dear.
So by having that in mind, as a young man growing up, you have aspirations and intentions and targets in life. So I targeted myself to have that show for a period of 5 years. And guess what? It didn't last for 5 months. So it created a lot of mental effect on my mind. I kept on asking very many questions. Was it the right time for me to set up this kind of business? Was it the right time for me to venture into something that I had not started before? Why was I reacting to the demands of society? Because I looked at myself and I kept on asking myself, if I don't have what to do, then what should I do? So I think I took that decision basing on the effect of society, and I ended up not having my business for a period of 5 months, which is very laughable. But I understand most of the businesses, if you don't credit them so much and if you don't do a lot of research, most of our businesses don't last a lot of periods. So I had that effect. It affected me. I was very anxious. I almost got depressed. But as a man, I told myself I should redefine myself, who I am. So it is very key as you're maneuvering into the mental wellness to rediscover yourself. What matters most is rediscovering yourself and giving yourself a goal and a plan on which you can navigate across what you want to achieve.
So clearly society has all these demands about men and how you're supposed to be successful possibly at a certain age, because you can see you had to own a business because it's possibly a status symbol for you to own a business. So it drove anxiety. So can you try to educate us and enlighten us? What are the common misconceptions or stigmas you've encountered regarding mental health as a young adult? Because you've mentioned that about finding your purpose, rediscovering yourself. Can you just try to compare that to what other misconceptions that society has? Because clearly you try to build your business and it collapsed. But as a man now who has discovered himself now, how can you enlighten society to stop some stigmas in regards for the young adult men that you advocate for?
What I can say now, that I didn't see then, is that society exerts a lot of pressure to every young man out there, because there are parameters on which we have grown into. Because growing up as a young boy, I know most people that have families know this. There comes a time when you tell your boy, you should not do that, men don't do that. So growing up,
men don't cry.
Men don't cry, men don't say that. So growing up, you adopt to that, because we as people usually stimuli to what we see in societies, and these are the things that we learn from our families growing up. So you end up in a moment where you're told that a man has to stand tall in whatever circumstances that maneuvers their way. Never be emotionless. Never be a a shy man, never be this. So you end up in a fix. You end up in a fix. And in every life and in every aspect of any person, there is that break-even point. So if you reach the break-even point and you've not rediscovered yourself, that is why we're having a lot of suicide attempts and suicide success stories, which is not a good thing to all young men out there.
So basically, everything starts from family and culture and tradition, where men are supposed to be strong, withstand all pressure and not break, which at times can be hard on the men, because clearly, if you are not allowed to cry or wail, then what do you do? I like the fact that you've aired out some of these things. So do you think as a remedy, what are some of the remedies that we can adopt as a society to manage this mental health amongst men? What as a man now, what strategies can we give? Yes.
What I can say, the best strategy now is how to fight the stigma, because it is very key. However diverse and however good your strategies are, if you don't fight the stigma, the strategies won't work. So how do we fight the stigma? We should tell society that it is okay for a man to break even. It is okay for a man to break down. It is okay to speak up.
Yes.
Before we break the stigma, the strategies cannot work. They are good strategies. For example, there's a group therapy. You can have a group therapy, but if the stigma is not broken, people will conceal, and most people that conceal are having the biggest effect. There are a lot of strategies. I can say there's a group therapy. You can talk to your group. You can talk to people who you trust. You can say now, there's an acceptance therapy. I've accepted the situation that I am into. And then how do I get out of this situation? Then you can also look at your behavior therapy and say, how do I behave? How do I react? How are my emotions?
Yeah.
So to achieve all these therapies, we must break the stigma, which is very key.
I like that. I like the fact that you've aired out stigma as a community issue, because most times we run away from the foundation or the root cause of the problem, because the stigma about men being able to break down should be embraced. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, for those who have just joined us on Smart 24, you are live on Smart 24. We are live on GoTV and DSTV. We're also available on YouTube. Fat Talks. Fidelis Leadership Institute is the one that brings you this show. We are on plot 61 Kanjocha Street, and we are an institute that drives a critical mass of leaders. Our guest today, again, Ismail Basarirwa, is here to give us an enlightenment on how to do effective male strategies that can help men cope with mental health, especially given the numbers. If you Google, they will show you that almost 4 million Ugandans have mental health issues, and a big percentage of these are males. So this show is very critical, and we're honoring it in honor of all those who have lost relatives to suicide, to this disease that most people are creating stigma about. Isma, thank you for that. So in terms of how society expects masculinity, in terms of how they expect masculinity and how does it impact on men's willingness to seek for help? Because the society, let's tackle this issue of society from your experience. Yeah, how can the society's expectations, of course there are expectations that a man must marry at a certain age, a man has to build, a man has to do this. How do you think these expectations impact on a man's willingness to even seek help for mental health? Yes.
Yeah, like I've said earlier.
I want people to know them.
Yeah, like I've said earlier.
Yeah.
Growing up as a young man, you're told a man must do this. A man must not say this. A man must not break down. A man must not seek help anywhere. They must be capable to navigate out of every situation by their own. So when you look at that and what society expects of a man, there's a lot of challenges. There's a lot of challenges that a man faces. That is why when you look at the percentage of people who are depressed, 49%, I think, 49% of men are depressed, and they are willing to share. They are willing to share. And then you look at the 51%, they fall into depression and they're willing to conceal it until they overcome it. Most of them do not overcome it and succumb to a lot of challenges. Most of them, we see a lot of suicide attempts lately.
Yes.
And then when you also look at the economic terrain of any society, for example, Uganda, a man is expected to be the breadwinner in every society. And when you look at the economic terrain, the economic development, the taxes, the jobs, the pressure to get employed, the pressure to be fired, there is a lot of stress there. So balancing between work, family, and society expectation. That is why the men mostly are falling into this mental illness.
Rightfully so. So do you think as a man that women should, now that we fought for empowerment and equality, should the dynamics change? Do you think the dynamics should change in terms of society expectations? Because if a man is expected to work, to provide, to pay all the taxes, but again women, we're fighting for equality, do you think it would be helpful for the men to still remain masculine but have shared responsibility?
You see, Viola, as growing up, we have come to realize that there's a lot of diversity today.
Yes.
And we have to agree that there has been a shift and there has to be a balance. So, to reduce on this, it depends scenario per scenario. In families where we come from, there could be a deal that families strike, provision-wise. When you provide this, I do this. So it is collective responsibility, because at the end of the day, you don't want to have a man at your service who is mentally broken. Because when they're mentally broken, you're going to have a rough family at home.
Yes.
You get. So the kids will face it tough to having a tough dad. So that is why most families are breaking lately, because we have failed to collectively come together and raise families. So if you only leave this, if you only leave a man to navigate and come out of the mental effect that they are facing, then you're not giving him emotional balance. So in every society, family is a backup point. So they have to embrace you in whatever situation that you come. So if they embrace you and they comfort you, you can re-energize yourself and come on top of the game.
Ismail, I'm sorry, I'm going to put you on the hot seat and digress a bit, because besides society's expectations, society is made up of religion and faith and doctrines. Where you come from in Islam, a man is supposed to provide. Being Ismail Basarirwa, how can this, if this is historic and foundationally laid down, that if a man does not provide, he must give materials and all these things, how then, because I like the fact that you've acknowledged that there's been a shift and there has to be a balance, should then society renew its foundational doctrines on some of these things?
What I can say is, one, provision is very key for every man. Every man has to provide to their families. And what I can say, like you've said, bringing it from the Islamic perspective, provision is very key. And every man is entitled to provide to his family. And also, I can say, Islamic wise, we say you only have to have a family that you're capable of looking at as you ask, yes, as you ask God for more provision that you can manage the rest. So I can say, let the man provide, but let us strike a balance, because society has evolved, things are changing, and the demands are high. If you want to bring up a good family today, you have to strike a balance between family members and see how you can come on top of the game. At the end of the day, no one wants to have a broken family because some sector is not providing. That I can leave it at that. I won't go much into.
I think you've answered my question very smartly, because yes, the word of Islam actually states that you have to marry the number of women you can manage. And so therefore, if your energy is at 1, don't be adventurous and go to 4 and then get mental health stress. Fair enough. As a man who lives in Uganda, in that moment where you are going through depression and you are sad and your business had collapsed, were there any services within your vicinity, like besides the family that you go to, which sometimes you don't want to share because you want to share and get embarrassed? Were there any services available at that time? And if not, what can we do differently?
What I can say...
It's like having malaria and knowing that I can go here for a blood test.
What I can say today...
Yes.
Today we are voicing up.
Yeah.
We are voicing up. Everyone is aware that we have a big lion at stake called mental health. But then we had to incline into self remedies. You had to rediscover yourself. You had to tell yourself, I can maneuver out of this. I'm not a very fast person to be in such a condition. Then you had nowhere to go, because we've had a number of I think psychologists and therapists and counselors, but they have not been at our disposal. Lately, everyone knows where psychologists are, therapists are. So it is different.
Can you mention some places?
It is different today. I have Birungi. I have Birungi. She's doing at, I think at Ntinda. She's doing very good, because she tells me she has a lot of clientele there. So it means that mental illness is something that people are taking very seriously today, because of the effects they have seen, and how it has affected most families, most societies, and most groups. For me then, when my business had collapsed, I told myself, what can I do differently? So I was helped by a friend of mine called Daudi. We had a discussion. He told me, see, life has no formula. So today I tell myself life has no formula. And sometimes I always tell myself it is not worth it. So sometimes you have to accept that things have come your way, seek for help, rediscover yourself, and move on.
Thanks, Ismail, for that. For those who have just joined us, you're listening to Fat Talks live on Smart 24 and DSTV, GoTV, and we are Fidelis Leadership Institute, an institute that drives a critical mass of ethical leaders. Today, we are closing the month of June by having a very critical discussion about exploring mental health solutions and effective remedies and strategies tailored for men. Ismail was just sharing with us a friend of his called David, who helped him overcome by listening to him during that time where he was able to overcome the loss of his shop, and he spoke to himself. So clearly there's an issue about your voice. You have to be able to speak to yourself and utter these words of affirmation, because clearly the battle is personal. I like the fact that your friend helped you. So in terms of relationships and networks, how has it played for you in terms of managing your mental health? Please note that it can even damage it, or this can be a negative or positive way. How has it affected your mental health in terms of relationships?
Yeah, like I said when we are beginning this conversation,
Yeah.
I've said we have mental wellness, then mental illness.
Yes.
So as you look at relationships and groups, you should know that they can shrink you into the mental illness, or they can save you into the mental wellness. So these relationships include family, they include the therapists that we go at, they include our friends, they include the groups that we engage with. So what is key when dealing with the relationship is to know who does what. Because at the end of the day, it is the trust that matters most, and confidentiality of the information that we share. Because when I share out the information with you, I really want to trust you with my information because I want to be helped.
Yes.
So it is very negative when I find this information out to the society. So the positivity of it is trust and confidentiality. And then also to align it with family relationships. Families are always our back.
Yes, true. I agree.
Always our back. So if your family can support you 100%, you'll overcome the mental illness. Because it is like when you're taking medicine, you're prescribed 2 times 3. You know that I'll take medicine 2 times.
3 times.
3 times a day.
Yes.
So you know how to handle that. So when you're mentally broken and you are in the hands of the family, they know that our person is mentally broken.
Yes.
We have to make sure we have to do practical solutions to see that they overcome. So I don't underscore the fact of relationships and groups. They are very key. They can either incline you or uplift you. So the choice is yours to take,
Yes.
but also learn to listen and sieve out exactly what can assist you. Sometimes you may listen and never sieve out.
True.
So if you don't sieve out, you can incline and never recover.
True. I like that. I like the fact, Ismail, you really understand this topic very well. I think after this we should have a coffee. But I'd like us to have a short minute break, and then we'll get back for part 2. And Ismail will be sharing with us some of these activities that the men can take on to be able to manage their mental health. Thank you so much. You are live on Fat Talks TV. Thank you.
Smart 24, driving business.
Cooking oil like no other makes your meal so sweet and scrumptious. The taste of Uganda, yeah, the taste of Uganda, the taste of Uganda, yeah, I want ya.
Luxury redefined at Seasand Hotel as you indulge in the splendor of elegant living fit for the royalty that you are. Step into comfort, pampering and blissful customer-centric service as you select from our range of comfy, exquisite living quarters furnished to meet with your royal preference. Surrounded by scenic beauty, our tropical setting allows you to escape the glamorous ordeal of city life. Our ambient green gardens will guide you to a place of revitalizing rest. The 3-star restaurant caters to your palate, serving your choice menu ranging from exotic cuisines to local delicacies. Our chefs will serve you full-course meals for a truly out-of-this-world culinary experience. Our fully stocked bar to whet your throat, from renowned global brand whisks, brandies, gins, beers and wines to our locally celebrated beverages, you will not lack for any brewage. It's an all-new experience in the East at Seasand Hotel. So visit today at plot 15 to 19 Spire Road, Ginger, or contact us on +256 751 719 960 and +256 785 354 614 for reservations. Seasand Hotels, luxury redefined.
Are you a female business owner in Uganda looking to grow and transform your business? Grow empowers you with access to entrepreneur services, accelerating your business growth from micro to small and from small to medium enterprises. Grow provides comprehensive support, including training, startup tools, business formalization, certification, networking opportunities, access to affordable credit and grants, coaching, and mentorship, with all resources available for free. For more information, please visit grow.go.ug. Contact the PSFU Grow officers at Trust Towers, ground floor, plot 4 Chadondo Road, Nakasero, or the Ministry of Gender at plot 2 George Street, Simba Manyo House, 3rd floor. Call us at +256 394 514 071. This message is brought to you by the Grow Project, a Government of Uganda project implemented by the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development and PSFU, funded by the World Bank. Grow, generating growth opportunities and productivity for women enterprises.
Oh, you see Zizinga. Hey, ani Zizinga. Zizinga. Oh, what? This is blood. Zizinga. Lydia wedding. Invisible wakati chechi ndako. Nani na blood? Hey, Euros for everyone on Go TV. Euros for everyone. Naira. Yeah, people at home watching Euros on Go TV. Euros for everyone. Yeah.
Euro 2024 is for everyone on GoTV. All the 51 games of Europe's biggest tournament live on your TV and on GoTV stream.
GoTV Uganda, love it.
Smart 24, driving business.
Hello, our loyal viewers and listeners of the Fat Talks show. We're live on DSTV, GoTV, and this is Smart 24, our partners for bringing you critical discussions. We are Fidelis Leadership Institute, located on plot 61, Kanjocha Street, and today we have a wonderful guest. We're just coming from our commercial break. He's been telling us about his experience on how to overcome mental health, especially strategies specifically for men. Ismail, thank you so much for this. So we have discussed causes and you have enlightened us that there's such a thing as wellness, there's such a thing as illness. You have enlightened how family is the backbone that can be able to solve mental health problems, which is very, very key. And now let's go to the activities. Because men are so masculine and macho and all these things, are there any particular activities, Ismail, that you think that men can take on to distress and be able to manage their mental health? If not, any other solution that they can do?
Thank you very much once again. What I would say now, the activities that one can can foster to see how they can mentally attribute themselves onto the wellness side, not the illness side.
Yeah.
It also matters on how the society is perceiving this. I'll bring the conversation to what we started it from. What matters most is to fight the stigmatization of it.
Yes.
Because there is no activity you're going to do under the guise of that stigma. So if we first fight the stigma, we will have open conversations. These are activities. We'll have there are activities like nature guided therapies. They are good. You go and be somewhere, view nature, accept nature, accept creation, wonder a bit on how the things come into place, and they are good. They are good. Most people are doing I don't know whether it is okay to say it. Most people are engaging in a lot of sauna therapies. They go and have conversation
And steam.
They go and have conversations. And then after, it creates an impact. Most of them have had conversation with most people that have had difficulty. I had a friend who had some difficulty, and they confirmed it was solved by the conversation they had at their famous sauna places. So it is, I look at those activities, I don't despise them because they have a lot of impact they create on society. And then there are people that are good at expressing what they feel through art. Through art, that is an activity. So there are some people that are good at writing. They write off what they feel in mind.
Journaling.
Yes, some people do, like I said, art. They draw what they feel and let go what they feel. So technically, you can also learn forgiving. Forgiving is very key.
That's a good activity.
Yes, forgiving is very key.
There's a saying about people who keep anger, that it poisons you. It's like a cancer. So I really think that you're the right track. Though most people may not consider it an activity. They may consider it a spiritual duty. But ladies and gentlemen, our boy-child advocate has confirmed that forgiveness is an activity.
Yeah, forgiveness is an activity because you see, forgiving is not a day. It is not a day thing. It is a process. You learn that you have to forgive. You forgive and let go. And let go and never. Remembering is a real currency, but again, an activity itself, forgiving, is very key. So those are the activities that I see that we can align ourselves now. Like I always say, I don't have monopoly over the ideas that people should use to up their game and also see how they can maneuver out of the mental illness. That is why the discussion is always open-ended. We can also listen in from various ideas because there are a lot of ideas and activities people do to handle this illness.
Clearly, these activities are also personal, based on your interests as a man.
Yeah.
Some men like to go for those therapy treatments, sauna, massage, and speak their mind to strangers. I mean, if they can speak to a therapist, then they might as well, if that's what soothes you. Forgiveness, I feel, is very key because it's possibly the root cause of a lot of mental health issues. A lot of people haven't forgiven themselves as well. Not just forgiving others, but even forgiving yourself. Because there are things which you show thought of as a human being. And then the guilt eats you up. Maybe as a man you failed as a father, you failed as a husband, and then the guilt and people remind you of that guilt. So I think the first person you must forgive is yourself, and then you'll be able to pass it on to others. Now let's go to the workplaces. Yeah, a lot of stress is coming because there's targets, performance. Workplaces, by the way, this is also for self-employed people because regardless, now you see even our business friends have been hit by a system, the taxation system. So there's no escaping work and its targets. So what better support system can we have in regards to mental health in workplaces for male employees? In your opinion, what kind of mental health support can we give men at workplaces?
Once again, thank you very much. I would like again to say, workplaces are diverse places that we go to, so we have to adapt to situations and what is there. But what is very key for workplaces is one thing called work-life balance. It is very key, work-life balance. As you enter your workplace, you know the exact time that you're supposed to check in. You know the time that you're supposed to clock out. So, what does the life-work balance entail? Respect your work when you're at it. Then after it, have your social life adjacent from work. Respond to your activities as outlined in your schedule of work, and then also have your time. Because at the end of the day, you have to have your time as a person. You have to have the time of people that you really affiliate to, mostly family, friends. So if you don't create time for them and you only create time for one, which is work, at the end of the day you'll be energized out and you will not have a backup plan. But beside the work balance, then workplaces also should know that the kind of situation we are in, anything is possible. And mental illness and mental awareness is something very key. So workplaces should diverse a plan called a survey plan. You should always consult and listen in from your workers. Listen to their ideas, listen to what they say, and listen to their concern. When you do and you have an engaging management style, you will come to know what they are facing, what effects, what problems and challenges they are trying to overcome. Because at the end of the day, you need a well-concentrated person to give you 100%. So if you don't listen to them, there will be less work output at your work, because they are suffering from something they can't share with you because you've not created that atmosphere of openness and sharing.
Wow. Are you a certified therapist, Ismail? This is so enlightening. I'm so impressed because you have just tackled the issue 360. You have tackled what the employee needs to do for themselves. When you get a job, you sign a contract. It's possibly 8 to 5. Utilize that time to do company work, and please do not digress. Have some time for yourself. I'd like to share a model with the viewers, a time matrix. I learned it last year. It's about 24 hours. Every human has 24 hours, Ismail, in a day. So if you have those 24 hours, what I have come to learn, and I'm always very excited to share this priority matrix, is you have 8 hours for work, 8 hours to sleep, and 8 hours to do personal investment. In that personal investment, and I never ever saw it like that. I used to just wake up, know that by 5 I have to do this. But you find that you have another 16 hours that you haven't accounted for. So our dear men, find time and divide those hours. Give yourself 8 hours for sleep, 8 hours for work, 8 hours to do your personal work. And you will find that in those extra 8 hours, because I think time management is also part of mental wellness, because most times we abuse our time, we don't keep time, so we spend less time sleeping. But we'll get to that. Ladies and gentlemen, you are live on Fat Talks. Wondering what FAT is? FAT is an acronym that means faithful, available, and teachable. Those are the values that we have at Fidelis Leadership Institute. So we want to raise a generation of critical mass of leaders. As you all know, Africa's biggest problem is integrity and ethics, and we hope by sharing these talk shows with you that you can be able to share with your friends and follow us on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and thank you, Ismail, for joining us. Ismail is also available on LinkedIn, Snapchat, Facebook, same names, Ismail Basalirwa. And thank you to Smart24. As we get to the end of this conversation, Ismail, to the younger men, let's talk about, Ismail, are you a millennial Gen Z? Or you're shy to discover, to share that?
That is a discussion for another day.
But okay, the youngest generation right now is Alpha. My son, my children, those are 20 from 2010. So let's talk about Gen Zs. Those are the ones I think below 27.
Okay.
For those people who are young men who are finishing the university, have just started, for the men specifically, and they're struggling with their mental health, but are hesitant to seek assistance, what would you advise them to do? What TikTok generation?
What I would like to share with the young generation is one. You are the best person for yourself.
That's profound.
Yes, you
say that again.
What I would like to share with the young generation, you are the best person for yourself.
Great.
So if you don't take care of yourself, no one will do it for you. So I would like to encourage you to always share with, it could be an expert, it could be someone of an older age with you, it could be someone of relative age with you. Have a conversation. There is diversity in conversation, and there are a lot of people that have had similar problems like the ones you have. So when you share out, the solutions to your problems are diversely combated, because there are a lot of ideas that are narrowed down to fight the effect you have. So I advise you never to shy away from seeking help, because it is very key. It is very key. I can again repeat it. It is very key never to shy away from seeking help, and never fear to tell someone, I need assistance in this. That is what I can tell the younger generation. There's no pride. There's no pride in concealing hardships in you. There's no pride in concealing the problems in you, because at the end of the day, you'll have a break-even point. And when the break-even point finds you at your list, that is why we're having suicide attempts from the younger generation, and also we have seen some successful suicide missions that have happened in the younger ages. We don't want that to recur, but we only want to find a solution. Speak out and let you be saved.
That's so profound. Please, you are the best solution for yourself. Discover your why, discover why you exist, because only you can save you ultimately. As a student of the law, to digress a bit, because the law is there to solve solutions. I find that I was discovering that the crime, suicide, is actually a crime. Is it section 154? I'm trying to remember, in the Penal Code Act.
Okay.
Suicide, attempting to commit suicide is a crime. Actually, if it's not successful, you can end up in jail. If it's not successful, you can end up in jail. So what can the law do? Because if it's only there to punish the crime and deter people from doing the crime, is there a remedy that we can do? Because I find that it hasn't been exactly supportive in that. It being a crime, even traditionally it's a crime. Actually, when you commit suicide, some people don't pray for you. They burn your wreaths. They don't care. You're a curse. So what do you think that the law can do for this society, government especially, for mental health? Because we see people on the street and we think, oh, Onomolalu, I mean, Uganda, that one is mad. But there are people who are like me and you, and yet we are very mad. The only difference is we've not yet removed our clothes. We are not maniac, but deep down, we can slit our wrists. So do you think there's any part that government can support this before we give our closing shots?
Yeah, what I would say is, I would like to ask government to acknowledge that we have a lion at hand, and this lion is mental wellness and illness. So, supportively, the government should devise means on how the stigma itself is cracked down. When it does so, we'll have an opportunity to have mental health clubs, mental health camps in schools. Because remember, it is not an effect that starts now. It is an effect that starts way back.
That's profound.
Yeah, way back. So it is something that we are growing with. So if the government finds it useful, it should enact laws that tackle the mental factor of life and devise possible solutions on how we can help those that are in that effect. It should be something that we start a little bit early. The awareness should be a little bit early, so that by the time someone is grown up, knows that when I have this effect, I can find solution here. The places should be known. Places should be known, and the stigma should be fought. To that, we will have an opportunity of reducing. We can't completely erase the vice, but we can reduce on the effect and the impact it is creating to the society. And also, I would like to ask government, because there is what we call personal induced mental health. These are the ones that we ourselves bring to ourselves. For example, when a young man goes to a betting sport and they want to get some quick money and they do not get. So when they do not get, they get anxious, they get depressed. So that is self-induced. But there is also an effect that the government is creating, because when you look at the current economic gapping of Uganda, the situation and the rates of and the cost of living are high. So it is also government impacting into this. So if the government looks at creating a suitable workspace for everyone in Uganda, then we can also reduce the aspect. I can conclude by looking at our friends in Kenya. Yes. When the finance bill was brought, the youth in Kenya said, you are causing stress onto our mind. We can't afford to buy bread. We can't afford to do this. That is an effect that is relatively to the mental effect, because stress is part of the mental illness. So I ask government to avail possible solutions and moderate solutions that everyone can navigate through. There we will create a suitable place for everyone and we will reduce on the vice.
Wow, that's very, very profound, Ismail. Thank you so much. But there's a saying, I don't know if it's a great saying, that says, ask not what the government can do for you, but what you can do for your government. So we are the government now. Of course, they are in position, the leaders are in position to help with some of these decisions. But as a society, how can we address mental health? Can you close us off by telling us what changes would you like to see in society that could address mental health, especially for men?
Let us break the traditional cult. If we do that, we would have changed society. Because if we tell our young children growing up that it is key to always share and find solution to whatever problem that you have as a young boy, they will grow up knowing that it is very key to always share whenever there is a challenge. So if we break the stigma and that traditional cult from at an early stage, we will have a society that does not conceal. We'll have a society that is open. We'll have a society that is willing. Because even willingness is not something very easy.
True.
It is not something very easy. So if we do that, then I personally think that will change society and people will freely express themselves when they have the effect. People will speak to each other. People will seek therapies from professionals. People will do activities that enable them not to incline into mental illness.
Yeah.
I think even the level of decision making and interest will be very key.
Wow. Thank you so much. I think this has been the most valuable 1 hour I've had with someone this week. Truly. Ismail Basarirwa, thank you so much for giving Fat Talks your time. We know time is valuable. You're a busy man, a businessman, a politician. Ismail is also a leader at the Law School of Makerere. Would like to thank Smart24 for always giving us this chance to educate the masses on critical issues, current affairs, things that affect us as society. The guest today has been Ismail Basarirwa. Please follow him on socials. He's a man of value, impact. You'll be able to learn a lot from him. And I have been your host, Vala Mboneko Risoke, a consultant with Fidelis Leadership Institute. We again would like to let you know we are located on Plot 61, Kanjacha Street. And remember to keep it fat. Remember to stay faithful, available, teachable. Catch us on YouTube, X, and DSTV and GoTV. Thank you so much. And to the men, we wish you a happy end month. We hope that you remember to be you. We hope to remember that you're valuable. Society needs you, the dynamics. And to the women out there, please remember to be a listening ear and supportive woman. Do not be irritable to your brothers, your husbands, your children, your sons. Let us be supportive because we are better off together, women and men as a society. Thank you so much and have a good evening. Bye.